It is a new dawn, the greatest sporting spectacle on earth. Formula One is racing!
Williams Racing. We are raw, authentic, brave.
All okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
The passion for racing above all else. Rising from a brilliant legacy. 114 race wins, 7 Drivers' Championships, and 9 Constructors' Championships.
This overwhelming desire to move forward on the grid. The team will do what it takes to get there.
We are true F1. We are Williams Racing. Join us.
Aidan Lyons is a skilled global sports expert. He once started out on a US soccer scholarship, has over 10 years of experience in leading data-driven marketing teams in the NFL, and is now Chief Growth Officer at Williams Racing, creating the ultimate cross-channel fan experience.
Hi, Aidan. Good to have you here.
Thank you, everyone.
In Lyons.
Thank you.
Lots of you will look at the Drive to Survive Netflix docu. You do as well.
Yes.
Have you ever appeared in Drive to Survive?
I did appear in Drive to Survive.
You did?
I appeared in season 4, episode 6.
Oh, you know exactly.
For 2 seconds. For 2 seconds. I actually missed it. People sent me the screenshot. I'm like, how did you pick that out?
You were just walking
I was
somewhere.
literally standing behind, clapping behind our principals.
I made a joke about Max, but what's your view on his success?
Oh, Max is in a class of his own in the sense that he is the best car on the track, but he's the best driver on the track.
Yeah.
Meaning, it doesn't necessarily mean you look at Checo's results and you look at Max's results. Checo is not doing as well as Max. So Max is just unique and he's at the prime of his career. He has the best car on his track. Maybe the Gen AI can produce something where Williams can beat Max, but other than that, I don't think we're beating Max right now.
Okay. I'm going to give you the floor to address your keynote. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. When I first got the phone call to go work with Williams, I grew up in Dublin, so I grew up understanding Formula One. I knew the value of it. I knew the heritage of it. I knew what you see behind me with, 52% of fans want to be Williams fans. That's also unique to Formula One, where people can be fans of 2 teams. Most other sports like soccer, football, you're not a fan of Ajax and PSV. You're not a fan of Manchester United and Manchester City. You're a fan of one team. In Formula One, it's different. Then, having lived in the States for almost 30 years now, I've seen the impact of Drive to Survive. I've seen the growth in the audience. I've seen the change in that audience. I know from our own data for the last 2 years, it's #1 in consumption, #1 engagement, #1 in commerce. So I had a little bit of a cheat code in understanding all this before I went to Williams. And what I understood was that, okay, we have a strong fan base. We know where the fan base is. My screen's gone. But where are they? Where are these fans? What are they doing? What are they connecting with? How do we communicate with them? So I started with basic numbers. You have a Nielsen number. It's a very big number, 391 million. I know we can all be skeptical about Nielsen, the numbers, but cut it in half, take it as a third, it's still a big number. But then I said, okay, where's the next part of the funnel? I said, okay, social, we have about 4 million at that time. We've grown it to 6. Not bad, it's decent, it's okay. But all of the problems with the walled gardens, you don't own that journey, you can't create that connection. You can also be struggling with how you communicate, what's getting through the algorithms and so on and so forth. So I said, where should we focus on next? We should focus on our digital properties because I can't create that one-to-one connection. I can't communicate with them. I can't push to them. And our current platforms were like a corporate website. They put up a press release and that was it. Wasn't engaging, wasn't driving a reason to come back. There was definitely no reason to become a registered fan and engage with us. So I said, let's focus on the bottom part of that funnel. I know we have the top part of the funnel, so let's push down that funnel and use those to get to where we need to be. So how do we do that? The first thing that was most important, and we've talked about a lot today, is content. we needed tonnage of content. We needed articles upon articles. We needed videos upon videos, because without that tonnage, you're not giving a reason to create that connection to come back. If I come back and it's static, I'm not coming back again. So we created an editorial desk, and the focus of the editorial desk was to drive and create that tonnage and get that tonnage on digital, use social to drive to that. The second piece was the content need to be authentic. And authentic is probably a word that's used too much. By authentic, what we mean, we needed that content to come from Williams staff. We didn't need to pay for any talent. It had to be Williams staff. What is also unique about Formula One is Friday through Sunday is owned by Formula One. We don't get access to that content. Monday through Thursday is ours. So we wanted to use our staff, our employees, Monday and Thursday to create authentic content. The second thing about authenticity, it is a British brand. We need to speak in a British voice. We need to speak with that authentic voice, especially to that US audience. They want to hear authentic voice talking to them about Formula One. The last piece is, no, you don't have to hide it. We were 10th in the Construction Championship last year. We're now up to 7th, largely part of James Valls. But I spoke to James when he came on board. I said, you need to talk about the race, whether we were good or whether we were bad, whether we were successful or whether we had a DNF. You cannot not talk about the race at all. And he has been absolutely amazing. If you go to our site and check out Val's Verdict or download our app, unashamed plug. If you go there and down and watch him on the Val's Verdict, he's absolutely brilliant in talking about whether the race was good, whether the race was bad, and so on and so forth. The Williams warm-up, like I said, is all Williams staff. You will not find any paid talent there. All those stories are our engineers, our aerodynamics, our creative directors, so on and so forth. So that's what we mean by authentic. Authentic voice, authentic in where we are in the pit lane, and authentic that these are Williams employees. So once we got the content piece sorted out, which creates a certain stickiness and that return visit and the loyalty, the next piece was, okay, how do we do something that differentiates us from the rest of the paddock? How do we build something that drives that really deep in engagement? So we focused on digital features. Before I came, at the weekend when there was a Grand Prix, we didn't even have a live experience. So great, we put on a live experience. We talk about how the drivers are doing, pit stops, tire changes, so on and so forth. But we needed to do a little more than that. We needed something more than just a live experience. So what we do is we gamified it. Every time you go to the live experience, you can claim a badge. Every badge is different creative, which is based on the Grand Prix we're in. And then the customers and fans can collect the badges all through the year. And then at the end of the year, we reward them with prizes for collecting all the badges. If perchance we have a P10 or a P8 or a P6, maybe sometime in the future, a P3, we award another badge for that. So again, it personalized the experience to the performance of that race, and the people can claim those badges. The next was, I know from my time at the NFL that fantasy football, fantasy sports drive the most engagement, the most return visits. At the NFL, 80% of our consumption was driven by 20% of our audience. So we said, let's create something that is similar. Let's create pit wall predictions, which basically gives you the opportunity to predict how Alex and Logan are going to do. And then you're scored, then you're ranked against your peers, and it creates a bit of an opportunity for banter and slagging, as we would say. So we launched pit wall predictions, 61,000 registered users, but the return rate is 20x, right? And also, our competitors don't have it. So they don't have a predictor game. I think Red Bull did rip us off this year, but it gives us, separates and differentiates us from our competitive set. Then our fan profile was important. We wanted to make it, I'm not just registering because they want my data. We wanted to make it something that they could customize, something that they could personalize, something that we could then use to communicate to them. So in the fan profile, there's up to 40 different variations where you can customize it. Your helmet, your number, your favorite driver, your favorite esports driver, but it just again creates that personal connection that gives us the ability to communicate to the fan. And again, those users have a 5x return rate. One of the issues which I struggled with when I started was getting a presence trackside to sell merchandise was very difficult because of our placement in the Constructors' Championship. What I did notice about Grand Prix is they're very similar to Super Bowls. In a Super Bowl, you have a downtown area and you have a stadium. Everyone stays downtown area and then they go to the stadium. Grand Prix, you have a downtown area and you have a track. Everyone stays at the downtown area and they go to the track. When I went to Austin, the picture that was actually up with me was, I think I was the only one to leave the paddock. I walked around Austin and I timed the throughput of the F1 experiences there at Austin, and it was 15 to 20 minutes per fan. I'm like, that's not an experience, that's painful. And then I also said to myself, okay, you're going to put us beside Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren, we're going to get drowned out. So we said, okay, instead, we'll create an immersive experience downtown, all Williams, nothing else. We'll put it there 4 or 5 days before the event comes. We'll make it free so you grant that access, and we'll watch the fans come in. And we're not discriminating if you're a Mercedes or Williams or a McLaren or whatever fan, but my favorite moments in the fan activations is when a McLaren fan or a Red Bull fan comes in and buys our merchandise and puts it on and leaves. That's very satisfying. The other thing with the fan zones was we bring Alex, Logan down, James Vowles, Jensen to do Q&A. And what we found is, okay, now again, we've differentiated from ourselves. We've differentiated our content because what we've done is created live content on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when none of the other teams have live content, which essentially means that during the week, sometimes during midweek, our engagement is higher than it is on the weekend in the Grand Prix. Now, I know you can say your track performance would probably dictate that. However, it's still impressive that you're just streaming a live Q&A with Alex. Some of the questions are very special, but it literally has lifted our midweek to be I think Wednesday is our highest traffic day. So again, it shows if you build these digital features, differentiate yourselves, then the content and the programming will follow. So what's coming next for us? Well, thanks to Mr. Vowles, we're definitely on an upward trend. And you saw the video when it says, join the journey, right? What we need to do is we need to continue to make that connection. We need to continue to create that stickiness. We need to continue to create that loyalty. We're definitely going to double down on our interactive games. We'll build out more of those in a platform where we can do them in, and we'll do it with our partners. There's a new partner being announced, so we can do things like how much weight does a driver lose during a race, which is pretty interesting. The other thing is, which we started with a freemium model. I knew if I started my funnel too early, what I would do is just narrow it down to a small audience. So we started with free, everything was free. The badges were free, Pitbull Predictions was free. Now what we need to do is we need to move to a premium model, right? So we'll still give you everything free. You'll come in, engage, but then we're going to start to tease you with things like get your own specialized helmet, create a loyalty program which will incentivize you to engage with more with our merchandise with us on whole. So we're moving to the premium phase of the program. Once we've done that, then we'll start to extract more value. The bulk of the value now is still in direct to consumer in merchandise and then also supporting our sponsorship team. But it was purposely designed to start it off with free and then move to premium. And now that we've got the engagement, we're now move to premium. So if there was 3 things I would take away that I would offer you today is 1, authenticity. Speak with that authentic voice from a perspective of your brand and where you are in your journey. 2, build out digital features. Those digital features will help with those engagements. And then 3, I would say, use that to differentiate yourself from your competitive set. And that has worked for us. So thank you very much for your time.
Oh, I love that. It is a British team.
Correct.
So how important is keeping Silverstone on the calendar for you?
Oh, it's hugely important. That's the home race. Last year was our 800 race for it. So keeping Silverstone is massively important. I talked about the fan activation. We had one in Piccadilly. We had 21,000 fans come through. And one of the unique things when we do the fan activations is the age group is between 18 and 26, right?
And do you have enough influence on that calendar? Because you see that the old races, they're under pressure because of budgets, and the new races in, let's say, certain countries with certain regimes, that's quite easy because they pay.
They pay. We can't control that, but we will control where we do a fan activation, meaning we'll go to the ones where we see the best engagement from the fans.
Yeah. Hamilton and Russell are British drivers as well, of course. Yeah. Is there some kind of competition between the British team and the British drivers that drive at a different team? And
yes,
how do you work on that?
Well, we be authentic. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
We talk about our British voice and we talk about our drivers. Alex is awesome. He obviously is Thai British, so we're halfway there.
Yeah.
Logan is American. So that helps us in the other market that I spoke about.
Yeah.
But it's hard to compete with a 8-time world champion.
Seven.
Seven, sorry. Going back to the generative AI.
He wants to have this 8.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Max in the last
that
corner,
was-
he just took it.
That was our driver, Nicolas Latifi.
Yeah.
That caused
Thank
all
you
that.
for that.
My fault.
Well, it was lovely. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Once
Thank
again.
you, everyone.
Aidan Lyons.